I hate critics. I think that bad things should be done to critics. I'm not going to elaborate. I'll let you use your imagination. But I truly despise critics. I think some movie critics are okay, but this one isn't. So this is a review, one of the first reviews I've read of Joker, however you say that, because I know I'll just get made fun of if I try to pronounce it. The Joker sequel. And I was just set off. I was set off. I was triggered by the wording of this weaselly worded review from David Rooney. Who, okay, don't do anything bad to David Rooney. Don't harass him or anything. Forget what I said a couple minutes ago about how bad things should be done to critics. I don't mean that really, I only mean it abstractedly. So let's read what David Rooney has to say about the Joker sequel. So yeah, blah blah blah. And again, I don't know whether this movie comes out on October 4th. I will watch it. I don't know if it's going to be any good or not. I'm not black-pilled about it. I know there'll be some black-pilled people coming in saying, "Oh, they've just made it feminist now," or something like that. They've made it woke now. Just wait till you see the damn thing before you make a judgment like that. It's got the original cast, has the original director who doesn't seem to be very interested in being woke. And the original writer too. So just kind of hold off on your black pilled responses, if you would, please, kind sirs. Anyway, I'm a little grouchy right now. Forgive me, or not. All right, so he starts. For a movie whose global box office exceeded $1 billion, Todd Phillips' greedy supervillain origin story could not have been more polarizing. The pro contingent, which includes this critic. Oh, you were on the side of the movie. Yeah, we'll see in a minute how he couches that. But he wants to make us think that he's sympathetic to the movie, so he says that. He says what he says. Appreciating its glowering social realist spin and its adventurousness in observing Batman lore while tethering it to a morally bankrupt view of contemporary America on the brink of anarchy, characterized by class and wealth divisions. Okay, fine, I guess so far, generally. The detractors objected to its incel depiction of Arthur Fleck as a morally dubious, if not downright irresponsible attempt to find compassion for the kind of aggrieved masculinity that breeds gun violence. Okay, so he says that he was on the side of this movie, but the way he phrases, notice how he phrases the detractors and their point of view in a way that seems quite sympathetic to them. He doesn't say the detractors objected to what they saw as its incel depiction, or the detractors were so whipped up in righteous indignation by this notion of incels, of an incel movie, that they just lost their minds. No, he summarizes their point of view with a lot of sympathy, but he tries to say that I'm part of the pro contingent. I was on the side of this movie. Okay, you're right. The 2019 movie was a surprise winner of the Venice Film Awards Golden Lion. Not only did it gross a fortune, it went on the following year to win Oscars for Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix's by turns pitiable and disturbing lead performance. And for the haunting score. Yeah, pitiable and disturbed. I mean, it's why not just say powerful? By turns pitiable and disturbing. Oh, he's disturbing. Yeah. You know, you see the subtext there, I think. He thinks the incel thing was, the incel critique was real. All right, now here's the paragraph that just made me just go absolutely, just get incensed. It really set me off. It's so weaselly worded. Okay, in hindsight, all right, so he was on the side of Joker in 2019, but in hindsight, looking back now, what was most troubling about Joker's politics was that its bleak nihilism lacked a point of view coherent enough to make it genuinely radical or provocative. What a weaselly statement! What a weaselly thing to say. You know what he's really saying when he says that? The bleak nihilism lacked a point of view coherent enough? What do you mean there was nothing? What do you mean that it wasn't coherent enough to make it genuinely radical or provocative? I believe what he means by this is that that Joker was sympathetic to the struggles of the main character, who was called an incel by the movie's critics, um, and so it wasn't genuinely radical or provocative. It didn't take a stand in the way that this critic wanted it to take a stand. This critic wanted it to be like to be unambiguously, you know, liberal left, Black Lives Matter, uh, kind of fair. He wanted it to be in line with his politics. Because it's not in line with his politics, he calls its politics incoherent, and he accuses it of having bleak nihilism. But he doesn't elaborate on that. If I had this guy in front of me, I would, and he was a captive audience, I would ask him a few choice, pointed questions. What does he mean by bleak nihilism? What does he mean by it lacked a point of view coherent enough to make it genuinely radical or provocative? These are words strung together and they sound meaningful, but really nothing is being said there. Okay, so then he goes on to say things about the new movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm dismissing what this person has to say, because he is obviously a weasel, not to be trusted. Will likely be embraced or dismissed for some of the same reasons. It doubles down on key aspects of the earlier film's divisive character study. Oh no, it doubles down. It doubles down on the incel stuff. It doubles down. You know what that means. You know what that means. Let me go to that paragraph above. Okay. The detractors objected to its incel depiction of Arthur Fleck as a morally dubious, if not downright irresponsible attempt to find compassion. It's so irresponsible to have compassion for a man who's a total outcast and who is unloved. You can't have compassion for those kinds of men. That's so irresponsible. That just breeds gun violence. If you say to a man who's lonely and unwanted, if you portray his struggle with compassion, well, then that's just irresponsible. You need to show that person You need to make bad things happen to that person and disapprove of that lonely person, that lonely and desperate person. You need to show that you disapprove of that wagging finger incel. Otherwise, you're being irresponsible and breeding gun violence. I hate this writer. But don't look him up. Don't do anything to him. I want to say that again. Except in Minecraft, maybe. Then do what you want with him. Yeah. So whenever you have somebody, and I'm not going to read any more of this crap review. I just wanted to make this point. Whenever you hear somebody say, this, that so and so is doubling down, that means that they haven't changed their point of view to suit yours. That's it. And it's a disingenuous way of trying to make them sound bad, to make their consistency, seem evil. Oh, he's just doubling down on the incel stuff. He's doubling down. You mean he hasn't learned his lesson? When he made a movie that was incredibly successful, that made $1 billion, he didn't see the error. Todd Phillips didn't see the error of his ways and decide to show Arthur Fleck entirely differently this time, and to wag his finger at him and wag his finger at all the incels out there. It's just, no, he doubled down. Well, that to me is a good sign. If this guy is saying this movie's more of the same, it's doubling down on the things that made it frustrating, then I'd say that's a good sign. That makes me inclined to think that maybe this movie's pretty good. But of course, we'll find out soon enough. Anyway, this critic sucks. You suck, David Rooney. You absolutely suck.